I'm Justin Reilly. I'm the Chief Exec of Mwabu. We are a primary education company working in Africa, focusing on education technology.
And Justin, originally this was an organisation set up by Mark Bennett called iSchool that worked only in Zambia. How have we got from that to what Mwabu does now?
So Mark was interested in benefiting and changing children and learners across a much wider field than just Zambia. Yes, he was based in Zambia, that's where the company was born, but he really wanted to tackle education and what he saw as poor delivery of education across a wider field. So he involved myself and a few others to start architecting how we would move from Zambia over borders to different countries.
And so where is the company now involved in terms of running out the kind of education product that you've got?
So it's still early days, but we are very much based in Zambia, and that's very much our home, if you like, in terms of where the business is from. But we're working with ministries and provinces across South Africa, talking to Kenya. We have some schools in Tanzania, we have some pilot schools in Lesotho, and a large number of opportunities coming from various other countries, ranging from Uganda, Ghana, and beyond.
And the product, describe the product to me, because in a way that's also changed with the transition of the company.
So traditionally it was a tablet, 7-inch tablet, that had primary education curriculum across it. It was aligned to the Zambian curriculum. It covered all subjects across the Zambian curriculum for grades 1 through 6 and translated into local languages for the first 3 grades. We looked at what that needed, what it meant in terms of the learners and the teachers and where the markets were pushing us. Obviously technology advances all the time. We have spent the last couple of years refining that and understanding what's required. So we're now agnostic to the tablet. We can be used on pretty much any tablet rather than one particular tablet. We've opened up the functionality of the tablet as well, so that it's not just the primary content, that you can use a tablet as you would do, say, in a consumer environment within the UK. We've also, and I think probably quite importantly, invested in the support services that wrap around the use of the technology. So rather than putting the technology into the classroom, a little bit of upfront training, we are very now invested into continuing the relationship with the teachers and the learners and supporting them on an ongoing basis.
You have the Mwabu Academy, don't
we do.
you?
We
describe
do.
What that is.
So the Academy is led by a lady called Eleanor Sykes. She's a very experienced classroom practitioner, very exciting educationalist. She is helping me to design the support services that we would give to teachers, and that will extend eventually to learners as well. And it's through a mixture of face-to-face support, through observations in the classroom, through a peer network of teachers, using the virtual social network that we have in Africa already to support those teachers, stimulating the conversation by using other teachers to generate the conversation. We like to offer a mixture of centralised training and remote support, but generally getting the teacher network, if you like, the teacher community in Africa moving forward by self-sufficient, self-supporting.
And give me some metrics to Zambia is where you've got the most developed operation. How many schools and how many devices sold?
So we're in somewhere towards 200 schools in Zambia, and we've sold about 22,000 devices in Zambia. It's still early days overseas. We're in our infancy in other countries as well, but our pipeline, if you like, our list of potential schools to be working in is in the thousands. So we're looking at many schools across many different countries at the moment. Our job really is about qualifying those opportunities and making sure that when we go and take them, this isn't about just being cynically commercial about it. It's actually where can we make the most difference, where can we be supportive, and where we going to be having a sustainable relationship. One that people will look back in 5-10 years' time and know that that was a really good reason we went into that project.
And you're looking to push down both the price of the device, which you've already done, and the price of the licensing.
Absolutely. So long-term goal, and we are some way off of doing this. We want to get the license for the software, the e-learning, down as close to zero as we can get. Now, there's always going to be some element of cost in that, but we would rather be monetizing in other ways. That enables us to extend the number of schools we can get into, both in low-cost private schools, ultra-low-cost private schools, supporting the government in what they're doing without coming along with a big price tag. And we're also working with manufacturers to get the price of the hardware down as well. So that's about reducing the cost of the tablet, which we've already done, but also extending...
And that's come down from 125 to 75?
We're about $75 landed at the moment, and we're continuing to push that down. We're working with a great partner in South Africa called Onyx, who manufacture the product in Africa, which I think is also a very important point. You know, we're not importing strictly from China anymore. We're using an African-based organisation, and they're very much a partner with us to try and reduce those costs even further. But it's also about being on multiple devices. So as we start to look at people bringing their own tablets, so reduce the cost there, mobile devices, smartphones, you know, that enables us again to keep that cost envelope coming down and down and down, and extending how many schools we can get into, enabling us to then provide the teacher support and the learner support thereafter.
And you were talking to me earlier about being able to get data from the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of data will you get, and what uses might you be able to make?
So this will always evolve. This is something that is going to grow and grow and grow over time. One of the things that, when I took over the organisation, one of the things that Mark wanted to be was more of an education company and less of a publishing company. When you're creating content and your focus is on the content, you're very much focused in on that, and you're not really thinking about its usage thereafter. We've moved forward from that thinking, and along with the academy services, we're also looking at how we harvest data from the classroom environment and aggregate it thereafter. So I'm a little bit of a data geek, I must admit, but my focus is to start gathering as many different metrics about what the learner's doing, both at a summative and a formative level, but also in terms of curriculum coverage, teacher attendance, pupil attendance, all the sorts of things that really will help us to understand how children are performing and what they can do better and how we can support them better. Now that data is extremely valuable to the learner, to the parents, to communities at large, teachers, schools, ministries, you name it. You know, there's a vested interest in understanding the profile of learning by an individual. Now that brings its own challenges, but for us, that's certainly the journey we're on. And I think that's the difference between us being a publisher and us being an education company. Really getting into the fabric of education, really understanding how people learn, what they're learning, at what pace, and intervening accordingly.